Volker along with Rob Totaro. And coming up, Rob and I will go around the league presented by our friends at Miller Lite. But right now, it's time for the CDTA Campus Beat. CDTA driving the region forward with a variety of safe and secure transit options. They have enhanced cleaning, sanitary measures to ensure you're safe when heading to your favorite destinations. And don't forget, CDTA offers contactless payments driven by their Navigator mobile app. Learn more today about what CDTA is doing to keep you moving at cdta.org. This week on the CDTA Campus Beat, we're talking some football, Rob. The UAlbany Great Danes get set for training camp to play their 2020 season. 7 months late. But joining us right now is the Great Danes head football coach and my true friend, Greg Gattuso. And good morning, Coach. How are we doing today?
Doing good, Charlie. How are you, Rob?
Hey, Coach.
We're doing all right. Thank you for joining us this morning. How's Chuck?
Chuck is, he's doing well. He's getting bigger. He's got a really thick coat right now, which is not being a horse person. Not used to them being outside like this in the wintertime, but I'm overcoming it.
So he's got a thick coat, meaning his fur is growing more, or the horse hair is growing more, or are we putting a thick, warm, woolly coat on him?
No, we're keeping him natural. Got to run in and got his friends. He lives with Baby Yak, another horse his age, and two Holstein cows that are his age, so they got quite a crew going out there right now.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd almost rather be hanging out with Chuck right now. So,
well, you have to come meet Chuck someday.
I am. I'm coming up. I'm going to definitely. Okay. I needed a picture of me and Chuck, like brothers
Absolutely.
type of thing, stepbrothers type of thing.
It'd be like that picture of you and the fish I saw when I first came to Albany.
Right, exactly. I'm one with the fish. Well, to talk about pictures, I texted you a picture the other night of the Penn State Pitt game, and you're holding up a ball after a fumble recovery from, I believe, Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino, and then you told me you recovered 3 fumbles in that game?
Yeah, I had 2 of the 3, but we had 3, and it was that picture actually appeared in Sports Illustrated when they wrote the article because it was we were number 2 in the country, they were number 1 in the country, and we beat them that day at Pitt, which was a big win for Penn State, a bad loss for Pitt. But the interesting thing was that it wound up in Sports Illustrated. Unfortunately, it was right in the crease. So I was on one page, and my arm and the ball was on the other page. So.
I like the arm page.
Yeah.
Remember I focused in on that. So were you like the guy on the team that waited for someone else to clock the quarterback and then you'd go and grab the ball for all the glory?
Well, I wasn't the best pass rusher, that's for sure. I will promise you that. My coach used to drop way back then. I was one of those very early pioneers of dropping defensive linemen into coverage, and my coach used to say, since I couldn't rush the passer, they might as well drop me in coverage. So, yeah, I wasn't necessarily sacking the quarterback. I can promise you that.
Hey, you played in that game against a buddy of yours since you were, 5 years old, who you happen to have a pretty close relationship now, right?
Yeah. Jim Sweeney and I, we grew up. We went from kindergarten on, been friends, and he was a center at Pitt, and I was a nose guard at Penn State, so we played directly head-to-head for 2 years against each other. So it was very unique, but it was fun. It was good. And he went on to great fame and played 16 years in the NFL, so he was a pretty good player. But, I kicked his butt most of the time.
Well, we talked about that. We had Jim on the show, and, of course, Jim, the longtime New York Jet, and we had him on here talking about how he overcame that, as a child, you kicking his butt all the time, and that helped enable him to get to the NFL. So, obviously, everybody owes you just about everything. So, but in all seriousness, let's talk about this upcoming season. How hard has it been preparing for the team to kick off March 6th instead of September 6th?
It's really difficult to put into words. It's when you, as a coach, it's been very difficult. As a person, I realize the amount of problems people around the world have with loss of jobs, loss of loved ones, and illness, and all the bad things. So I think when you put it in perspective, it's we'll survive and we'll make it work. And but in our office, and it's a little traumatic to say the least. And every day is a new day, and rules one day sometimes aren't the same the next day. And and you're dealing with young people who feel immune almost to anything. So I will say this: since the kids have been back, they've been great, and they're adhering to everything. They really want to play. I think in the fall they were kind of all over the place mentally about what was going on, and I think that they've woken up to the fact that this is a serious thing, and so they've been much better, and I think they're on board, and that helps. I think the school's been, we're getting information now and able to act on it. So it's a challenge, but it's something that we plan and we work hard, and we'll do the best we can with it. But we're just excited about. It's just been great the last couple of days having our kids around. The coaches, miss the kids, and I think the kids miss each other, and I think this the whole camaraderie of a team that you well know is a great thing to see when it comes back together.
There's no doubt about that. This is the CDTA Campus Beat, and we are hanging out with Great Danes head football coach and my buddy Greg Gattuso. Coach, you had an outstanding year last year. You go into the NCAAs, you win a game. Jeff Undercuffler had a great year. Has it been tough to judge his progression? He's a young guy. You want to see him progress into his next year. Has this whole thing put a monkey wrench in trying to judge his progression?
It'll be interesting. I think it's hurt Jeff more off the field. He loves football so much, and I think it's really affected a lot of those kids that are just, they're just ball players. It's what they do. They love it, and they live it. And I think he's really missed it. I think he's missed the mental aspect. He's kind of a gym rat. He loves the meetings, and he loves practice. He loves just being around, throwing the ball. And so, how it's affected anybody, I don't even know yet. Until in the fall, we just didn't get a whole lot of time with him. The 5 practices we had in the fall, the helmet practices we had, he looked great. So I expect him to hopefully pick up where he left off. And I do think, I think it can affect players' progress, but I don't think it's something that will affect them for long. I just think they need to get back in a rhythm, and those lessons learned are learned, and I think that he's going to be a better player as we move forward here in 2021. And I think that, he really has progressed an amazing distance from, you were at that Maine game.
Oh,
I think when he went in and started the second half, his first college experience. From that moment till the end of last year, he's really progressed, and he's a talented kid, and we're just glad to have him on the Great Danes.
All right, let's talk about who else can fans look forward to seeing this year on both sides of the ball.
I think offensively, we've got some guys on offense that are pretty good. We have some to replace, but I think Carl Mopar is I've said it to you before. He's about as good a football player I've ever coached. He's very well rounded. He's a great person.
Just to interrupt you, he's one of the best student athletes in my 23 years that I'd ever been around. So just qualifying that.
Yeah, he's the thing that's interesting about Carl is sports has become so specialized. You do this, you do that, well, and then the other stuff, well, who cares? But he's kind of a throwback. He can really run the ball. He's a great runner. He can break long runs. He can make short runs. He's great in short yards, but he also is a great blocker. He takes on defensive linemen and defensive ends and linebackers all the time in pass protection and run blocking. He's very selfless, and he's a great receiver. He's very, people don't even realize what a good pass catcher he is. So he's just an all around guy. And so Carl's back, and LJ Wisniewski at the tight end position's back, and we've got a group of tight ends. Thomas Greeny, we think, has a lot of potential. Kobe Thomas on the offensive line has been just phenomenal for a young kid to start as a redshirt freshman. He's totally in charge of the offensive line right now as a sophomore, which you don't see
That's
very
awesome.
much. Yeah, he's just super. He's going to be really good. We moved him into center, which I think is a little better fit size-wise for him than tackle. but he can play all 5 spots on the offensive line and be the best guy we have at each of those spots, which is pretty amazing.
Great. That's awesome.
You know, and I think Dev Holmes is back, and he looks fantastic. You can see the maturity in him. He's bigger and stronger than he was, and it'll be good to get him back. Tyler Odekoven last year at receiver was, made the top 10 list on ESPN twice with great catches. He's really was a good player at the end of the year for us. So we added some new people we think can really contribute. So it's a good group on offense. On defense, Levi Matheny kind of runs the show over there. He's been starting for 3 years, all conference middle linebacker. He's back, and the whole linebacker, Dane D'Amico, is a really good player. AJ Mishler. I think on the defensive line, Anthony Lang and Mason Walker and Ibn Foster have played a ton of football and are good players. And then there's Tyler Carswell. I always tease Tyler. I think he came to Albany. We went to school together back in Pittsburgh. I feel like he's been here so long, but he's been a great football player for us. He kind of flies under the radar. It's frustrating in the league that he doesn't get any recognition, but he's a good football player. So we've got a good group. Dylan Burns is our kicker. Had a good year last year, and so we're excited about those guys. And we have some new additions we think can really help us.
I'm excited. I can tell you that 100%. Before I let you go, was it cool to watch Jaron Williams for the Giants, back in December get on the field?
Yeah, it was. I was happy for Jaron. I know he went down on a kickoff and made a tackle, and he's super excited. Jawan's doing well still with Atlanta. He's got a ton of potential. Both of those guys have upside. I think that's why the teams are excited about him. And then, for Jaron to get some playing time is awesome. And, Eli just signed with Montreal Alouettes. So,
right, I saw that. Yeah.
He's doing well. And I got to tell you, Charlie, I have fun. All these guys I coach or recruited or was on the staff with over the years and watching them play on Sundays. I've never watched this much pro football in a long time. And, it's been fun. And today I'm excited. I was texting with Quentin Jefferson. He's with the Buffalo Bills, and I'm excited for Quentin. I recruited Quentin and coached him at Maryland. Great kid, great family. Mom and dad are just awesome, and he's just a really good person from a great family. So I'm really cheering for him and hope he does well.
Well, we're cheering for the Bills, and we are certainly cheering for the Great Danes. He is UAlbany's football head coach. Greg Gattuso, best of luck, my man. Big hugs to your awesome family and to Chuck, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks when you get going, all right?
All right, thanks, Chuck. I'll see you, man.
All right, that is the CDTA Campus Beat. CDTA getting your destinations ramped up with cleaning measures. Visit cdta.org. When we return, Rob and I are going to go around the league with our friends from Miller Lite. No, we're not going to have Miller Lites. It's presented by Miller Lite. This is Sunday Sports Buzz. I'm Charlie Voker. He's Rob Totaro on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, and the free 104.5 The Team app.